have the deputy governor as deputy governor where he went through, you know.
Talking about Felix Shaibu.
No, not even. I'm talking about Ondo now.
Ondo, okay, in the case of Ondo.
Yes, how the deputy governor became governor. They
under the later
Akeredolu, and imagine the intimidation and the attempt to despise him to ensure that he does not really have his fair share in the governance of the state and all that. And look at the resistance that the people put up for him. And I'm sure that sympathy, and given the fact that he did not see himself as well as trying to undo his principle. I think at every point in time he gave credence to him. He acknowledged his contributions to the leadership process in the state and all that. And I feel that engendered him to the people and gave him all the sympathy that he needed to scale to the next level. So I feel that these two cycle elections actually point to one direction, point to the fact that the people can be more involved and they can decide better, especially in Edo. If I tell you what really happened in Edo, at least you are from that state, so you should be able to tell me better.
That was in Abuja better.
You have feelings from the state.
On account of my work, yes.
Yes, on account of your work. And I know you sent your team there to give you feedback. So I'm sure with the resistance that was put forward, if Nigerians can begin to look at it from that point, let us say power of incumbency and the rest of it. For instance, even the Tinubu ticket for 2027, it's something that Nigerians can decide based on the written, based on the constitutions of his administration, whether he has performed or he has not performed. And these decisions will be made in due time by Nigerians.
Is it this area, for example, we saw the Supreme Court deliver what some persons have come to call groundbreaking verdicts to say the local government system must be autonomous in every sense of the word, in principle and in practice. Of course, we know many things that have happened between then and now. State governments have been falling over themselves to conduct local government election, even though those processes on some level are questionable. But in all, are we doing better today on account of that judgment at the grassroots level?
Definitely. That judgment is a landmark judgment. That judgment is actually supposed to change the face of governance. But like you know, the Nigerian factor will always come to play. One of it is that governors are still handpicking chairmanship. So we would, in our assessment, I would say that the first level of trying to actually give autonomy to local government have been achieved. Why? Because now there is local government autonomy. But to move it a step further, the body that will be responsible for conducting elections to elect this supposedly independent chairman of council must also be independent. Because as long as you still have state management electoral commissions sitting on elections to elect local government chairman, what you only have is a selection. I have witnessed it. Are you getting me? So you see, they are only putting their stooges in power.
That's the
governors. So you see, the matter is now within, it has moved to a different level. The first level has been achieved. The first level is that we all know in principle that local government have been given autonomy. So what the next phase is to be able to now get it to work the way it's supposed to, which means you sitting here now can decide to go to your council and independently file for election under a party where you are credible, where you know that you have the political credibility and all that is required to win an election. Not necessarily having a governor who will stand as a godfather and handpick a few people and put them in position. One of the issues that was raised, somebody raised with me in regards to local government autonomy was the fact that chairmen are still being taken care of by governors. So if the chairman is autonomous, why is it that his welfare is still determined by the governor? That's to tell you that he's still tied to the governor's purse string. Invariably, they are not free in totality. So that can only be achieved. The autonomy of local government can fully be achieved when we have independent electoral body overseeing the elections of local government chairman into that position of chairmanship, and not what we have in this instance, which is state electoral management bodies who will be doing the biddings of their principal. In fact, in most states the way it was done, it was pure selections. There were no elections at all. So in that instance, the chairman will be totally loyal to the governor.
Are you one of those who are advocating that INEC should take over the work of the state's independent electoral commissions?
Yes, I think so.
Would that not be an electoral body that INEC has already very saddled?
Not INEC,
A different body that will be independent.
that will be independent, but we oversee INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission will only be overseeing that. Not like what we have here, where the state management, electoral management bodies are fully controlled by the state governors. Do you understand? So, but if you have INEC at the federal level managing the elections, you can be sure that those people do not have direct interface. They don't have any interest. They don't have any interest with regards to what happens at the local council. So they would want to be as fair and free as possible. And at that level, you cannot talk about the real autonomy that is been anticipated by all and sundry.
This year has also seen so much of palliative measures. Generically we can say social investment initiatives. The semantics are not the problem, but we're looking at exactly what the impact has been, how much of thrust has there been in terms of how these initiatives, in some cases laudable, have changed the lives of every Nigerian. Because my guest here a while ago just said that there's no economy in the world, thriving, forward-thinking, and looking economy that survives on palliatives. Is Nigeria getting tried with all of these social investment programs?
Well, to be honest with you, the times are really hard. So people are looking for quick fixes to be able to help one another. And I think that's one of the reasons why government is acting that way. And part of the problem is we as Nigerians, we are yet to come to terms with the fact that anywhere in the world where there are reforms, it comes with harsh economic realities. There are no reforms that you begin to get the benefits immediately. Having said that, I think what is more of concern to us is the will and the sincerity of those who are in government or who are trying to carry out this palliative. Most times the palliatives have become a source of fleecing our common patrimony. They have become a point of playing politics. They have become a point of showing favoritism. They have become a point of trying to use it to undo political opponents or to win political struggle rather than achieve the essence that it was meant for in the first place. And like you rightly said, your guest said, there is no way that palliative can stand in for the kind of reforms or can take the place or achieve the essence for which it was meant for in the first instance, because that means you are on the road now trying to say the people do not have the still power, the resilience to be able to go through the reforms as it is. And one of the major areas that have been very concerned is that the cost of governance still remains the same, especially for those who are in prime places. For the president is still living lavishly. For governors, National Assembly members, these guys are acting like they are in a different world, and those of us in this other side, we're in a different world. So I believe that, you see, whereas we do not totally say palliatives are bad, we will have the wrong with us, but the challenge is that it has become a different thing altogether. It's been used in, some people now use palliative as a way of trying to win elections without really knowing that palliative is also palliative. Palliative now mostly is for party members, people who are loyal to a particular political party and now more favored than the others. It shouldn't have been like that. It should be for every Nigerian who needs such palliative. And so I think that the issue of palliative, yes, but I don't think it's really worth it at the end of the day.
Now let's talk about palliatives a little further, especially the distribution approach to it, right? I mean, you and I are aware of what happened in Ibadan, Anambra, and Abuja, the stampede and the scores of lives that were lost. That would have otherwise been saved, those lives, if we had probably streamlined the process and standardized how these things are done. But it was more of initiatives by individuals, publicly spirited entities and stuff like that. What lessons should we learn from those other incidents and take into 2025 and years after that?
Like you rightly mentioned, I think it has to be standardized and restructured. For instance, even in developed climates, people give palliatives.
Right.
Well, you see, you can reach out to, you have to do an evaluation of people who actually need this, do a need assessment, and you can transmit these things directly to these people that are in need of this, rather than trying to put them together just so that you can score, like that, what I was trying to say, so that you can score some emotional points, trying to make it look like you are doing something, whereas you're actually doing nothing in the final analysis. It's just a show. So if you really want to reach out to those who need these things, there are different ways to go about it that will, at the end of the day, achieve the result that is needed. The most important is that people who need food should be able to have access to it. And so is to know, not to now gather people, because sometimes when you even gather people, you gather the wrong crowd. And so I think there are different ways where you can send this food directly to those who are in need of it. You can send this food directly to them. So we have to put in place those checks and balances to avoid, because in the course of trying to help, we are not losing lives, we are losing precious lives of Nigerians, and that really is an eyesore. We are acting as if we are not taking advantage of the times that we find ourselves. If you even open an online platform and say, okay, those of you who need help, who need this, through a screening process and all that, you'll be able to have a better approach as to how to distribute most of this palliative. But you see, just because of lack of sincerity on the part of those who are really trying to do this most times, or lack of the fact that they really do not take into cognizance some of the issues like the stampede and the rest of it, there's no way you gather people. A few times that we have gone to IDP camps or gone to motherless baby homes, especially there's one in Kuchingoro, just take food for them there. These guys will even almost kill you. In fact, the last time one of the people who went with us was giving a dirty slap. We went to share food, cooked food. A lady had a birthday and so she wanted to celebrate in the IDP camp through her foundation, and we went there. And these people don't have patience. So you'll be able to structure it through, it must be properly structured. You will continue to have issues like stampede. There is no time that they have tried to do palliative or they have tried to distribute foodstuff that is either it will end in disarray or it will, no action will not take place and the rest of it will become story.
Alright, let's analysis there. It is what it is now. The important thing going forward is what vital lessons are we going to glean from all of this, and what practical ways are we going to apply those lessons as a country and as a people. I'd like to say a big thank you to Dominic Obako for coming to share with us this morning. Dominic, by the way, is a politician and a civil rights activist, and that will be a full dose of our program this Tuesday morning, the last day in the month of December 2024. We say a big thank you to everyone who has spent these last 365 days with Global Television, and it's worthy of note to state that on the 18th of July this year, Global Television also had its own landmark achievement, jumping on channel 365 on multi-choice DSTV. That for us is one thing we're taking away from 2024 into 2025, and we hope we'll continue to use that platform to add significant value to you, and especially by way of allowing you to get a return on investment on the time that you spend with us here at 247. On behalf of our team at Global Television here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, I know Yagmafo is saying we're grateful for your time. We do not take your company for granted. We'll see you again. Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.